Hello everyone, good morning. Am I audible? Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so we shall go ahead with the session. So probably in the last session we are done with something called as encapsulation, right? So yesterday we couldn't have the session. Okay, so because of network issue, and today we are back. Okay, so today, as I told you here, the next 2-3 days, okay, it's going to be really important for you all. Okay, so it's like the trickiest concept in entire Java is today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So the next 2-3 sessions, whatever I do, will it's like the base. If you are able to understand those topics, probably Java is a cakewalk and you can all digest it properly. If you're not able to understand, oh, then it's going to be slightly difficult for you to make sure you understand it really well. Okay, so now basically, we are going to talk about something called as typecasting in today's session. We are going to talk about a beautiful topic that is nothing but typecasting over here. Okay, so what is typecasting? So when I tell typecasting, it means type conversion. Okay, so in simple terms here, I can tell typecasting is nothing but converting one type of data to another into another type of data, as simple as that. Okay, converting one type of data into another here. Okay, but they are generally classified into two types. Okay, one is called as primitive casting. Okay, what is it called as? One is called as primitive casting, and one more is called as non-primitive casting. Okay, one is called as primitive casting, another one is called as non-primitive casting. Again, primitive casting is divided into two types. That is called as widening, and one more is called as narrowing. One is called as widening and one more is called as narrowing. And non-primitive casting can again be divided into two types. One is called as upcasting and other one is called as downcasting here. So again it can be divided into two types, that is upcasting and downcasting. Okay, so this upcasting and downcasting is my favorite topic in entire Java. Okay, so I have a few favorite topics here. Okay, but upcasting and downcasting is one of my favorite topics here. The reason you will understand tomorrow. Okay, so upcasting, downcasting, and that is non-primitive casting, we're going to do it tomorrow, not today. Okay, because I don't want it to, it be a problem here. I don't want you all to confuse. That's the reason. So in today's session, we are just concerned about primitive casting, that is widening and narrowing here. Okay, it's very simple, guys. Okay, this is actually the most easiest topic if you are able to understand everything. Okay, so yeah, we'll try to do it in a good way. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so first of all, typecasting means converting one type of data into another. So there are two types: primitive, non-primitive. Primitive can again be further classified into widening and narrowing, and non-primitive casting is again classified into upcasting and downcasting. Right? Perfect. So now over here, so now after this entire data here, okay, what are we supposed to do here? What are we supposed to do here? So it's very simple here. Okay. So now here we are going to talk about widening here. What do you mean by widening? Okay, so we tell the roads are getting wider. What do you mean? From small to big. Okay, so widening means it's a process of converting a smaller type of data to bigger type of data here. Okay, widening means we are trying to convert a smaller type of data into bigger type of data, and that will always happen implicitly. Okay, it will always happen implicitly or automatically. Got the clarity here? For example, if I want to convert, okay, for example, see all the data types here. See, byte to short, okay, short to int to long. So these are all non-decimal numeric values. Then comes float and then comes double. Okay, so this is with respect to byte, short, int, long, okay, float and double here. Okay, got it? So if I want to convert, okay, a byte value into short, short into int, int into float, long into double. So when I'm trying to convert a smaller type of data into a bigger type of data here, we will always come across widening. That is called as implicit typecasting as well. Okay, so how does it happen, sir? So you have to concentrate really close. Okay, don't try to divert here. Okay, don't get diverted here. Just concentrate here. See here, guys. I will take a variable byte. Okay, byte. I'll take the variable name as a equals to 5. What did you understand? Sir, 5 is a non-decimal numeric value that is getting assigned into a variable called as a, and the data type is byte. So now byte a is pointing to the value 5 here. A is storing the value called as 5. Now I want to convert it into float. Okay, byte to float, small to big. So it will always happen implicitly. I have to just follow the basic syntax here. Okay, so a is the variable which is storing 5. I want to convert this into a float and store it into b here. Okay, it means, okay, a is nothing but 5. This 5, I want to convert it into float and then store it into b here. So what will be the value of b here? This 5, which is a non-decimal numeric value, got converted to float, that is decimal value. So the b value is storing 5.0. We are trying to convert byte to float, non-decimal numeric value to decimal numeric value. It will always happen implicitly. Similarly, I will write int I equals to, int I equals to, I'll take it as 10. So what did you understand? I is storing the value called as 10 over here, right? Now, I want to convert this I, okay, into double, okay, into double and store it into j here. So what is happening over here? We are trying to convert int to double, small to big, right? So I is storing 10, correct? So I means 10. This 10 is getting converted to double and it's getting stored into j. So what is the value of j here? It is 10.0. Why? Because the int got converted to double here. So I is of type int. That got converted to double here. So we have to just follow the syntax here, wherein A is storing 5 and B is storing the floating point value. That is the decimal value, it is 5.0. The same example also, it's the same here. So this is how we are supposed to understand typecasting here. Widening means we are trying to convert a smaller type of data into something bigger. That will happen always implicitly, right? Similarly, okay, similarly, we will talk about something called as narrowing over here. Okay, we will talk about something called as narrowing. Narrow means the roads are getting narrower. What do you mean? It's getting small, right? So narrowing means we are trying to convert a bigger type of data to smaller type of data, and we have to always do it explicitly. Okay, narrowing meaning when we are trying to convert a bigger type of data to smaller type of data, we have to always do it explicitly. Got the clarity here? Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to the respective data here. Clear? Understood? So this is what we are supposed to understand with the content here. Okay, now great. Now, what I'll do here? See, I'll tell you. So it's the reverse of it. Okay, double to float. Okay, float to long, long to int to short, and short to byte here. So when we are trying to convert, okay, double to float, float to long, long to short, int to byte, meaning when we are trying to convert a bigger type of data into a smaller type of data, we are supposed to do it explicitly. That is narrowing. Okay. For example, see here, I will tell double. Okay. double a equals to 5.5 here. So what did you understand here? There is a variable a which is storing the data called as 5.5 here, correct? And that's a decimal value, so it is double here, correct? Now this a, I want to convert it into int and then store it into b here. I want to store it into b. But now, when we are trying to convert a bigger type of data into smaller type of data, we have to do it explicitly. How shall we do it explicitly over here? So in order to do it explicitly over here, we have to just make use of a simple syntax. To which data type am I trying to convert? Int. I have to write int over here, but when I tell int a, that becomes like declaration. So I have to add it within cast here. So the value of a is 5.5, but this 5.5 is getting converted to int and getting stored into b. So I have to explicitly do it. Therefore, the value of b is only 5 here. Why? We have converted into non-decimal numeric value. Clear? Similarly, one more example. Don't worry. See here, double, okay, x equals to 3.45. Okay, I'm trying to store 3.45. So x is storing the value 3.45. Correct. Now I want to convert this x, okay, into short and then store it into y here. This x is nothing but 3.45. This x is nothing but 3.45. I am trying to convert to short and store it into y. But this is double to short, big to small. I have to do it explicitly. How shall I do it explicitly? To which data type am I trying to convert? Short. So I have to write short over here. So when I write short over here, it becomes like declaration. But I have to write it within parenthesis in order to cast it explicitly. So when I write it short x here, so y will get stored the data only 3. Why? Because 3.545 is a decimal value that got converted to non-decimal value. So it became 3 here. So this is what we are supposed to understand here. Got the clarity here? Perfect. Great. Okay. The voice is lagging here. Okay. Is it the problem with everyone, guys? Any issues with the audio? Guys, any issues with the audio here? Is it only for Vinayak or is it for everyone? Is it peaceful here? No problems here? Okay, Vinayak, probably the issue is from your end. So try to sign out and sign in. Okay, quit the meeting and then try to join it. Okay, perfect, guys. Okay, right. Appreciate it. Okay, great. So now we just got the basic idea. Okay, but we are supposed to do it in a beautiful manner here. Okay, don't worry about it. Sir, how shall we do it, sir? I will tell you. Okay, let me create a project. Okay, let me create a new project, and that Java project name is, okay, I will just write it as casting. Okay, or else I'll just give it as type casting. So I created a beautiful project, and that project name is typecasting. Under that, okay, under typecasting, let me create a package. Control N is the shortcut key, and I will create a package called as primitive casting. I will create the package name as primitive casting. Okay, so under primitive casting, let me create a class. Control N, and I will create a class, and the class name is demo. What is the class name? The class name is demo over here. Okay, so we all know what is the meaning of each and every terminologies, right? So now I will have my main method wherein the execution will generally begin from. Okay, so this is my main method over here. So I have the beautiful main method, right? Next point. Okay, next point. Okay, closely you need to observe. See, first thing we shall try to understand widening. Okay, widening. So how will I do widening? See, closely observe. Int a equals to 10. Okay, now, so int a equals to 10 meaning it's a non-decimal numeric value, correct? This a, which is of type int, I want to convert it to double and store it into B here. So what is happening here? Int to double, small to big. We are converting a smaller type of data into bigger type. It's widening. So therefore, when I want to print it over here, so see here, A plus give a space plus B here. So look at the output what I get here. When I execute it, I will get the output as, okay, I will get the output as 10 and 10.0. Did I get the expected output here? Yes, I got the expected output. Why? Because A is storing 10 and B is the double value for 10. Okay, it's getting converted to double. That is nothing but point will get added here. Similarly, now you are supposed to understand in a beautiful way. Char C equals to, I will write an uppercase A. Okay, what is char? Sir, char is a data type to store a single character. The variable is C and I'm trying to store a single character, that is A, in single quotes. Okay, now this C, I am trying to convert it into int and store it into D here. But now what should be the output when I try to print C? Give a space and D here. Sir, what are you trying to do, sir? So now A is getting stored into C. Okay. So now I am telling C is nothing but character A. But how will it get converted into int here? So now when I execute it, okay, I will get the output as A and 65. What the hell is this 65, sir? 65 is nothing but the ASCII value. Okay, the ASCII value of A here. ASCII stands for Standard American Standard Code for Information. Okay, interchange. Okay, it means, see, every student is identified uniquely by his or her roll number. Correct? Every student can be identified from their roll number. Correct? USN or whatever it is, university seat number or whatever it is. Okay. Similarly, every employee can be identified uniquely with the employee IDs here. Similarly, every character on the keyboard, okay, every character on the keyboard can be identified with a unique ID here, and that ID we call it as ASCII value. Okay, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. We all know that, okay, my operating system will always understand zeros and ones. Okay, he will understand only binary language. But now, when I try to type A here, okay, this A is a character that will get converted to its respective ASCII value and that will get converted to its respective binary value here. That is how the conversion is going to happen here. This is random value, okay, I'm just trying to write. So A is what I have interpreted, that will get converted to its respective ASCII value and that will later get converted to the binary value. That's how the process will happen internally. So the ASCII value for uppercase A is 65. Char to int, implicit, character value and the number value. Okay, so even lowercase a will have a ASCII value. Lowercase a's ASCII value is 97. See, uppercase is 65 and lowercase a is 97 here and keeps on going. Okay, 65, 66, 67, 68, meaning uppercase A, uppercase B, C, D, E, F, G. It keeps on going here. Got it? So this is called as ASCII value. Okay, the integer value of a character is nothing but the ASCII value here that gets interpreted. Similarly, okay, similarly, wait for it. Okay, narrowing. Okay, now what I'll try to do, see here, I will tell double x equals to 3.45. I am trying to store x equals to 3.45, which is a decimal value, double value. Now this x, I want to convert it into int and store it into y here. But now it's giving an error. If you could look at the bottom of the screen, or if I just hover on it, it is telling type mismatch, cannot convert from double to int. It means narrowing means we are trying to convert a bigger type of data to smaller. We have to do it explicitly. How will I do it explicitly? Simple. Sir, to which data type are you trying to convert, sir? Int. I will just write it as int over here. As soon as I write int over here, it becomes a declaration. But we need to cast it. So we have to write it within parentheses. So now what is happening here? So when I try to print the value of x here, it will print the decimal value. But y value is the integer value. Look what value will get interpreted. See, x is 3.45, but y is only 3 here because we have converted double to int here. Okay, now similarly, see here, similarly, what I'll do, int, we'll write it as int p equals to 66. Okay, now this p, I want to convert it into char and store it into q here. So now whenever I'm trying to convert int to char, it means we are trying to do it explicitly, bigger to smaller. Okay, so we have to explicitly do it. How will I do it explicitly? To which type am I trying to convert? Char. I will write it as char here. But char has to be written within parentheses. Okay, so now when I try to print the value of p, okay, value of p, give a space and q, what will be the respective value here? So now when I execute it, look at the output what I get here. I will get it as 66 and b. Very good. So what did you understand here? 66 is nothing but getting stored into variable p. Okay. P is character value. P is 66. What is P's character value? ASCII value of uppercase B is 66. So it will interpret the, the value here, the ASCII value. That way we will be able to get the expected output here. So once I executed, did we get the output here? Yes, we got the expected output here. So this is what we are supposed to understand when we come with this respective data here. Okay, got the clarity here. Okay, this is all about the entire process here. Okay, now I'll do loads of things here. Okay, so you have to answer now. Okay, think and answer, think and answer. Okay, it's not force here, you have to think and answer here. So now guys, interview questions. Now when I tell a plus, okay, see, you have to tell me the output. A plus B, can you tell me what will be the output of this entire program here? When I tell A plus B, can you tell me what will be the output, guys? What will be the output of this program here? Tell me, what will be the output of this particular statement here? Hey, what answers from everyone? Tell, what will be the answer? Okay, so A is a string plus B is a string. When I use string, anything plus operator with a string, it will always get concatenated. Therefore, I'll get the output as AB without any space. If I want a space, I have to give a space over here. That is when I'll get one space will get concatenated. So I am concatenating it immediately. So the output will be AB without a space. It's actually getting concatenated. Very good. Now similarly, if I write, okay, sys out A plus 20, what will happen over here? What will be the output now when I tell A plus 20 here? What will be the respective output here? It's simple, sir. You are trying to concat. This is a string, sir. String plus a value 20. Okay, so therefore what will happen here? A20 will get concatenated. Very good. So I got the output as A20. Perfect. Very good, guys. Similarly, now I will tell A plus B. Now I am trying to add characters. So what will be the output? A space B or AB? Will it be A space B or AB? What will be the output here? Think and tell me. Okay. So what should be the respective output, guys? Okay. So now I don't get any answers. Okay. So when I execute it, okay, I get the output as 131. What the hell is happening internally? The ASCII value of uppercase A is 65 plus 66. 65 plus 66 is nothing but 131. The output I got over here is 131 here. Got the clarity? Similarly, if I try to write A plus 20, now what will be the output? What will be the output, guys? A plus 20, what will be the output? You don't know addition? Okay. Okay. Rest of you all? No, sir. You only tell, sir. Okay. We are lazy to type, sir. Okay. We got it as 117. Why, sir? Guys, the ASCII value, this is what I told. The ASCII value of uppercase A is 65, lowercase a is 97. Got the clarity here? So therefore, internally, so when I tell A, it considers as a number. Okay, because the ASCII values will get added internally. Okay, because this A is 97. Because when I try to print A here, that gets interpreted. But when I make use of this plus operator over here, this guy will behave differently for different values. So when I tell 20, it's a number. And when I tell A, even the ASCII value, the number value gets added. So 97 plus 20, it's 117. I get the output as 117. But now, when I tell A plus A over here, now when I execute the value here, I just get it as, look at the data, I get it as double A. Why? How did I get it as A? Sir, you are using this plus operator with a string. Anything, if you use plus operator with a string, always remember it is going to get concatenated. But if it's a character or a number, it is getting added. Why? Because internally this plus operator has been defined in a different way. The operator plus, when we develop the programming language, right? When James Gosling was supposed to develop the language, he has written the algorithm internally that way. Okay, this operator, when I use plus with numbers or characters, it should get added. But if it's with a string, it should get concatenated. So that's how the internal data structure and the algorithm has been defined over here. Got it? So this is an important interview question here. What happens when I use the data here? Got the clarity here? Clear everyone here? Perfect. Okay. So now there is a couple of questions here. Sir, why A is treated for its ASCII but A is treated as a string here? There is an implicit library which forces for this interpretation. Absolutely. So when I tell double quotes A, it's internally a string object. Okay, this is a string object. But this is just a simple character which will immediately get converted as the data. See guys, internally string is a class. See, string s equals to new string of, and I am giving the content as a here. Does it give me an error here? No, it does not give me any error at all. Why? Because string is an class internally, which I'm going to talk about it later. When I do Java libraries here, I will talk about string in detail. Okay, but not today. But internally, there is a string class. When I write anything within double quotes here, it will behave as a string object. So when you add anything with a string object here, it does get concatenated over here. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand. If it's character or numbers, it's going to get added. Okay, but if it's a string, the data gets concatenated. Got the clarity? Okay, got the clarity. So now I understood the conversion process, but could not understand why char to int is called as narrowing here and into char is widening. Okay, okay, I'll tell you here. What is the memory size of char? Okay, I told you know what is the memory size of char? The char memory size is 2 bytes, right? And what is the memory size of int here? It is 4 bytes, correct? So char to int, we are trying to convert from 2 bytes to 4 bytes. So that is small to big will always happen implicitly. But if I want to convert int to char, 4 bytes to 2 bytes. So that is big to small. That will happen explicitly. If I go over here, see, int to char. So 4 bytes to 2 bytes. Big to small explicitly. That is narrowing here. But whereas char to int, 2 bytes to 4 bytes, small to big. That will happen explicitly here. Got the clarity? So this is about, okay, what is widening and what is narrowing here. We are trying to convert a smaller type of data to bigger. It's called as widening implicitly. A bigger type of data to smaller type of data, it's narrowing explicitly. So this is what we are supposed to understand with the data here. Got it? So this is all about the entire process here. Got it, guys? So this is all about typecasting. But if few things are left out, I will talk about it. But everyone got the clarity as of now here? Any confusions as of now? Any confusions as of now here? Any confusions, guys? Right, perfect. So we just got the basic understanding of it. Okay, but 3 days is completely about that. Okay, right, perfect. So now here the next topic, sir. What is the next topic, sir? Simple, simple, simple part. Control N. I will write a class called as runner class. Okay. Now, now I have to write a main method. Okay. Now, guys, always understand. Sys out when I tell 10. 10 is a non-decimal numeric value. Okay. So it could either take byte, short, int, long, any data type here. But implicitly, when I try to print a non-decimal numeric value, the compiler will automatically understand as int here. It will automatically understand as int over here. Got the clarity, guys? So whenever, if I just print a non-decimal numeric value, internally compiler will assume it is int. Got it? Similarly, okay, when I try to print a decimal value that is 10.5, the compiler internally will assume it as double here. The compiler will internally assume it as double here. Got the clarity here? So if it's a non-decimal numeric value, it's always int. If it's a decimal numeric value, it is always double. Got it? Now here, when I tell float a equals to 3.5, it gives me a huge error. Why the hell does it give a huge error here? Can you all tell me, guys, any idea here? Why is it giving an error over here? See, I told you, no, float is used to store decimal numeric value. But I am trying to store a decimal numeric value into float, but it's giving an error. If I just hover on it, it is telling type mismatch cannot convert from float double to float here. So it means by default in Java, when I use a decimal numeric value, the compiler will automatically understand as double. Okay, it should allocate 8 bytes of data. I repeat, whenever I use a decimal numeric value in Java, the compiler by automatically will assume it as double, which is 8 bytes. I am trying to store a double value into float value, which is 4 bytes here. That's the reason the compiler is asking to cast it. Why? Because 3.5 is a decimal value which is of type double, 8 bytes, and I am trying to convert it to float. Therefore, we have to write it as explicitly I have to cast it over here. Got the clarity over here? Perfect. So this is a very, very tedious task. That's the reason here in Java, whenever you are trying to declare a floating point variable such as 3.5, you have to explicitly cast it. Rather than explicitly doing it, if you just write lowercase f at the last here, automatically the conversion will happen internally. Clear? See, again, float c equals to 3.5. Either you can write it as lowercase f or uppercase f, or this way. You can follow any of those three ways here. Got the clarity? See, guys. See here. Double x equals to 4.7. Okay, now 4.7. This x, I am trying to convert it into float and then store it into y here. Why is it giving an error here? Why is it giving an error? Sir, 4.7 is getting stored into a variable called as x, which is of type double. Okay, 8 bytes. Okay, remember. X is of type double and I am trying to convert it into float. So double to float, what am I supposed to do? Double to float meaning I need to cast it explicitly. So when I tell x equals to this part, it internally means, okay, 4.7 here. So what is the value of x here? It is 4.7. So I need to explicitly cast it. How will I explicitly cast it? Float. Or else I have to write it within parentheses. So this is the actual meaning of that respective data here. I hope you all got the clarity about this data. Rather than doing it, whenever you declare a floating point variable, so just you have to define it as f here, lowercase or uppercase f. Anything is fine. It doesn't matter. Got the clarity? So this is what we are supposed to understand. Okay. Last time I'm just going to revise. See, float I equals to 1.2. Why the hell is it giving an error? Sir, in Java, whenever you use decimal value, sir, it will assume it as double 8 bytes. But you are trying to store it into float 4 bytes. So you need to explicitly cast it. So you have to cast it by using f at the last, lowercase f, or uppercase f, or you have to explicitly write it as float here. Whichever choice you want, you can utilize it. Got the clarity here? Understood the process? Perfect. Similarly, okay? Now, when I try to write, see here, long mobile number. If you talk about your mobile number, it's a huge number. Okay, imagine it's 9999 some data. So this is a huge number. But why the hell is it giving an error over here? Similarly over here, when I try to write a huge number over here, it would by default consider it as int here. See, the literal 999 is a type int out of range. Okay, meaning it's not in range of int here. So I have to write lowercase l or uppercase L at the last here. When I try to use it, it will consider, oh, it is of type long here. Got it? So we have to either make use of this particular syntax for long, or else we have to make use of this lowercase l here. Anything is fine. Okay? So I will just tell you that part here. Okay, so just observe this data here. Okay? See here. What is typecasting? Typecasting is nothing but it's a process of converting or storing one type of data into another. Okay, we are trying to convert one type of data into another. So there are of two types. What is it? Primitive, non-primitive. Okay, primitive casting is further divided into two types: widening, narrowing. Smaller to big widening, it will happen implicitly. Bigger to small, it will happen explicitly. And whenever you talk about the range of data types, whatever I spoke about it now, see, if you have the range between -21 to +21, you can make use of byte. Okay, that is -2 power 7 to 2 power 7 minus 1. Okay, because we are trying to assume it from -21. See, I told you, no, byte means 8 bits. 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, that way. Okay, so short means it is 16 bits. That is 2 power 0 to 2 power 15. So therefore -2 power 15 to 2 power 15 is the range of short here. Long, see int here, this is the range of int here. So the values between this range is what int can store. After that, you have to make sure of long here. So it's a huge different topic, guys, range topics here. It's a very, very tricky concept here. But don't try to, get into detail of it, because it is completely based on the system architecture and all those. But if you know the just creamy layer of it, it's more than sufficient. Okay. So now if it's a small value, it's int by default. Okay, now this is the basic range here. You can go through it later. Okay. So now what did you finally understand over here is, sir, if it is a, okay, byte value, directly write it as C. Byte, write it as A equals to 5. Why? This is between the range 1 minus 128 to plus 120. It's byte. Okay. Short, it can be something. B equals to some random data. 1, 5, 6, some random data. Int C equals to some bigger data. 6, doesn't matter. Okay. If it's long, okay, long D, if it's a huge number, okay, some random data here, then you have to always write it as lowercase l or uppercase L at the last here. So byte, it's valid. Short, it's valid. Int, it's valid. Whenever you declare a variable as long, you just blindly write it as L or lowercase or uppercase L. Similarly for float. Float A equals to 1.5. Again, write it as lowercase f or uppercase f here. Okay. Double, we had to write d at the last here. Okay, 2.5, we had to write d, but we have removed this. So it is valid. So in simple terms, if you are making use of float or long, write it as L or F respectively. That's it. Remaining things you can ignore it. Okay, got the clarity here? This is all about, okay, typecasting over here. Okay, simple. But we are done with primitive completely. We are supposed to jump with non-primitive, which I shall be doing it in tomorrow's session. But now I will do some other topic here. But before that, anyone having any confusions? Okay, let me know here. Anyone having any confusions here? So in simple terms, if it's long, L. If it's float, F. Okay, that's it. Okay, nothing much over here. Okay, remaining things are very easy for you all, right? Perfect, guys. Okay, so anyone having any confusions over here? Okay, right. Perfect. Okay, so we just got the basic idea about typecasting over here, right? But we are supposed to get in detail over here. Okay, so that upcasting, downcasting, I shall try to do it in coming session. But now the next thing which I just wanted to tell here is a few days back when I did arrays concept over here, we had a question. Sir, how do we accept dynamic input inside an array? Okay, so let me tell you here how do we accept dynamic input in an array, since we have a bit of time and I don't want to waste it because we lost a couple of days earlier. Okay, so what I shall try to do here is, first of all, if you want to accept dynamic input at the runtime, you should always come across scanner class. Scanner scan equals to new scanner class. You create an object of scanner and you will pass system.in here. You will pass what? System.in, right? And after that, you have to import the scanner class from java.util package. Okay, now done. Now, since array is of fixed size, first you will ask, okay, what is the size of your array? So I will tell, okay, sys out, enter number of elements to be inserted. To be inserted. I'm just requesting the person, okay, the programmer, enter the number of elements to be inserted. That is nothing but the length or the size. I will accept it dynamically. So I will just write it as, okay, scan dot next int over here. Got the clarity here? Now later, I will just write it as sys out, okay, enter, okay, plus size elements here. Enter size elements over here. But after I have accepted the size over here, I have to create an array. Okay. So now when I tell int a, it's a variable declaration. But if it's an array, what am I supposed to do? It's integer array here. Now it is integer array equal to new, and whatever is the size here, I am supposed to create an array of that particular size here. So now imagine scanner object got created because you're going to accept dynamic input, right? Now system.out.println, enter the number of elements to be inserted. So I will give it as 3. That 3 will get stored into size here. Okay. Now here, new meaning an array is getting created. When I tell new here, what is happening over here? An array is getting created. Just a moment. An array is getting created. And what is the size of that array? So the size of the array is 3. So therefore, an array will get created of size 3. Since it's an integer array, 0, 0, 0 will get stored here. And the index position is everything we are aware of it here, right? So this is what we are supposed to understand. Got it? So when I tell new, an array will get created of size 3. So here 0 will get stored. Okay, if you talk about it, 0, 0, 0. And what is the respective index position? 0, 1, and 2. Got it? So an array got created of size 3 and the default value for int is getting stored and the index position is 0, 1, 2, 3. Got the clarity? And then after an array got created of size 3, enter 3 elements will be printed here. See, when I execute it over here, enter the number of elements here, I give it as 3, enter 3 elements here. Okay, that way. Now I have to accept 3 elements from the user and store it into the array. So therefore, I will make use of one for loop. Okay, I will make use of one for loop. So what is that for loop doing over here? It's very, very simple. Int I equals to 0. Why? Because always the index position will start from 0. And I should be lesser than array name dot length. Okay, till it is length here, until the last element, I need to keep on accepting the input. And then I'll tell I plus plus. So over here, the logic is a of I equals to scan dot next int over here. Sir, what is happening over here, sir? Can you explain it over here, sir? Absolutely. Just understand the flow. See, enter 3 elements. Okay, enter size is 3 elements. What is my I value? I value is 0. Okay, remember, I value is 0. Is 0 lesser than 3? A dot length. Array dot length is 3. Is 0 lesser than 3? Yes. Scan dot next int meaning I will accept some input and I will store it into A of 0. Imagine it is 10. Okay, imagine it is 100. 100 got stored into index position 0. Again I plus plus. I value will become 1 here. Okay. Is 1 lesser than A dot length here? Yes. A 1 lesser than 3? Yes. Scan dot next int meaning I accept some input and store it into A of 1. So in A value, I will store 200 over here. In the first index position, 200 got stored here. Similarly, I equals to 0. Is 0 lesser than 3? Yes. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. It becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 3? Yes. I accept some input and store it into A of 2. So here it is nothing but 300. That got stored into index position 2. Again goes back, it becomes 3. Is 3 lesser than 3? No, stop it. Done? After I have stored the array elements, so I have to print it. So I'll just write it as, okay, array elements are, okay, I have to display. How will I display? One for loop to display, guys. Okay, int I equals to 0, I lesser than a dot length, and I plus plus. So if I want to print it, a of I have to print it. This is all about the program which is going to accept dynamic input here. See, enter the number of array elements, 3. Enter 3 elements, 100, 200, 300. See, array elements are 100, 200, 300. Okay, if you want it here, I can write it. 100 is present in index position I here. I'll just concat the value. So now when I execute it, look at the value here, 300, 200. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I gave it as 3000. See, 100 is present in index position 0, 1, 2. That way I got the expected output here. So this is all about how do we accept a dynamic input from the user here. How do we accept dynamic input and how do we work around with the content here. So in simple terms, what has happened, guys, see, first of all, I accept the size and I will create an array based on the size. Okay, I'll accept, hey, tell me the size here. After accepting the size, I will create an array. After creating an array, I will run one for loop because I want to accept dynamic input, no. So since if I want to initialize in the first position, the index position is always 0. Okay, and I have to traverse to the last position. I lesser than a dot length because we know how do we calculate the length and slowly increment. A of 0 equals to s dot next int over here. I am accepting the input. Simple. What is my I value? I value is 0. Is 0 lesser than 3? Yes. Scan dot next int meaning I accept 10. That will get stored into A of 0. A of 0 will become 10. Again goes back. I plus plus. It will become 1. Check the condition. Is 1 lesser than 3? Yes. Scan dot next int. I accept one input. 100. That will get stored into A of 1. So here 100 will get stored here. Again control goes back. I plus plus. It will become 2. Check the condition. Is 2 lesser than 3? Yes. I give it as 1000. 1000 will get stored into A of 2. So here what will happen? 1000 will get stored here. Again goes here, it becomes 3. Is 3 lesser than 3? No, stop it. I have successfully stored it into an array here. Got it. And I want to print the array limits. I got it. So now when I execute it, did I get the expected output here? Absolutely. 3, 10, 20, 30. I got the expected output here. Got it? So later, I gave you an assignment a few days back. find the number of occurrences of a specific element, right? So I'll just tell enter the element uh, enter the element to be searched. Okay, enter the element to be searched. Okay, or to count the number of elements. Enter the element to find the occurrences of whatever it is. To find the number of occurrences. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that element I'll store it over here. Int element equals to scan dot next int. Again, I have to run one for loop. Okay, for int I equals to 0, I is lesser than a dot length, and I plus plus. See guys, if you see in arrays, the structure will always remain same. See, structure will always remain same, but internal working will be different. So if element if element equal to a of I, okay, I will take one variable called as count that I'm going to increment it. I'll take one variable called as count. I will initialize it to 0. Okay, I will initialize it to 0 initially, so that I'm going to increment it one by one. Okay, after that sys out, okay, number of occurrences of, okay, that specific element is, you can just print the count here. I'll explain the code. Okay, what happened, see, such a huge program I have done here, but it's absolutely a simple part. Okay, so now when I execute it, look here, look at this process guys. I enter the number of elements to be searched here. I'll give it as, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't want to enter 10 elements here. I want to enter only 5. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 20 and 40. Okay, so array elements are so and so array elements. I got it. Enter the element to find the number of occurrences. I want to check how many times 10 has been present. Okay, or else 20. Right, 20, see, number of occurrences of 20 is 2 here. Number of occurrences of 20 are or is or whatever it is, you can just make use of it. What happened, sir? See, whatever element you want to search, you will accept it and store it into element. And the count is initially 0. Imagine your array elements are 10, 20, 30 and 20. This is your array elements. Okay, now first I equals to 0. Is 0 lesser than 4? Yes. Element is 10. Okay. Is 10 equal to a of 0? Is 10 equal to a of 0? Yes. Is 10 equal to 10? Yes. Count plus plus. Now count will become 1. Okay, similarly it goes back. I plus plus here. So I plus plus meaning I value will become 1. Is 1 lesser than a dot length? Yes. Element is 10. Is 10 equal to 20? No. So the count will still remain the same. So that way we have to keep on looping here and we'll be able to get the data here. So imagine if your array is storing 10, 20, 30, 10. Index position 0, 1, 2, 3. This is an array A. Okay, now, so what am I supposed to do? There is one counter variable which is initialized to 0. I have to run one for loop. Okay, I have to run one for loop. Int I equals to 0, I lesser than a dot length, and I plus plus. This schema will be the same. So I will check if element is equal to a of I. If this element is equal to a of I, I'll just tell count plus plus. Okay. So what is the element to be searched? The element to be searched is 10. Imagine this is the data. So what is my I value? I value is 0. I value is 0. Is 0 lesser than 4? Yes. Control comes inside. Element is 10. Is 10 equal to a of I? What is a of 0? 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Yes. Count plus plus meaning count will become 1. Again it's a loop. It goes back. I plus plus. It becomes 1. Check the condition. Is 1 lesser than 4? Yes. Element is 10. Is it equal to a of I? What is a of 1? 20. Is 10 equal to 20? No. So count plus plus will not get incremented. Again it goes back. I plus plus. It becomes 2. Is 2 lesser than 4? Yes. Element is 2. 10 here. Equal to 30. Is 10 equal to 30? No. Again it goes back. It becomes 3. Is 3 lesser than 4? Yes. Element is 10 equal to A of 3. What is A of 3? 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Yes. Count plus plus. It will become 2. That's it. Once I'm done here, print the count value. You'll get the output as 2. So this is how we are supposed to work around with array programs here. See, first scanner object in order to accept the dynamic input. Accept first ask the size. Hey, how many elements do you want to enter? Okay. After that, create an array and try to initialize within the array. Okay, try to initialize within the array. And then if you want, you can print that values as well. Okay, you can print those array elements. After that, enter the element to be searched. See, whichever element you want to search, just check. Count is initially 0. If it is present, increment the count. So this assignment, probably everyone had done it. Okay, so I had checked the assignment. I'm probably, if I have replied, it's fine. If not, I'll reply as soon as possible here. 10, 20, 20, and 30. See, 20, I want to find the number of occurrence of 20 is 2. That way, the output is the data here. Okay, so this is all about the entire process here. Clear, guys? Okay, so we are done with the session for today. Okay, so I hope there's no, the data here. Okay, not initialized, I'm not sure. What was the question? Why I get error if element is not initialized? Which element is not initialized, Mahesh? I didn't get your question. Where if you don't initialize it, where? Within the array? You won't get an error here. Even if you don't initialize within an array here, it doesn't matter here. Okay, I'm not sure of the question here. So just drop me a precise question. So probably I might answer it. Okay. So we're done with the session, guys. So if you have any questions, you can drop me a message, and Mahesh, you can type the message, or if you want, you can talk and let me know. Okay. So today we discussed something called as typecasting, correct? So we understood what, for only the first part of it, that is primitive, that is widening and narrowing. And we saw how do we accept dynamic input in an array here. Dynamic input in array. Okay, now we're done with this. So tomorrow it's Saturday, okay, and I don't take my sessions, I don't take the sessions on Saturdays, but probably I might take, okay, I'm not sure of it, okay, I'm not yet confirmed. By tonight, okay, I will confirm if I'm taking the session tomorrow or not. If at all I take, I will tell you the timings as well. If I don't reply anything, so there's no session. If at all I reply, Saturday you will have the session, okay. By tonight I will reply the timings here. Got it? If I don't text anything in the group here, imagine there's no session. If at all I tell, if I text a message here, so based on that we will have the session tomorrow. Got the clarity here? And the next session, if I take tomorrow, it is going to be upcasting and downcasting. So this is one of the most important topics in entire Java. Most of the things, okay, relies on this particular topic. It's a prerequisite. Upcasting and downcasting is the most difficult topic in Java, okay. But if you understand properly, you will not have such an easy topic at all, okay. So I'll tell you, okay, when I was long back, when I was a student, when someone taught me upcasting and downcasting here, trust me, I never ever understood it. Okay. I never understood upcasting and downcasting. I went, attended couple of interviews, got rejected. Why? Because I never understood this particular topic, because it was tricky. It's not difficult, but it's tricky. But if you are able to understand in a proper way, it's easy. That is when I sat and I studied properly. So that is when I thought, oh, such a simple topic, but we generally try to complicate it. Okay, so I'll make sure that you'll all understand in a beautiful way here, but you should have the patience level. Got it? So don't miss the session tomorrow. If I take tomorrow, do not miss it. If I don't take, then probably Monday I'll be doing it. Okay, now. So don't miss out on the next session, guys. Okay, it's going to be very, very important for you all going ahead. You will understand why is it important. You will understand. Clear? Great, guys. Okay, so we are done with the session for today. Okay, I have scheduled your mock at 11 o'clock. Okay, HRs will send you the Zoom link. Okay, so attend the mock here, prepare well and do well in the mock here. Okay, I'll get the ratings here, so I'll let you know. Okay, 11 o'clock is your mock here. Be prepared. Okay, you'll get a Zoom link here. Attend the mock based on that link here. Okay, So great, guys. Okay, so we're done with the session. Okay, so is anyone having any confusions here? Is anyone having any confusions? Let me know. No, no questions. Okay, great. Okay, perfect, guys. Okay, so we shall wind up a session for today, and hopefully we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay, so thank you all. Take care. Bye bye.